Alright, hello everyone, this is Winky. Today I would like to talk about latency recording. So in the following presentations, you will see me talk about the definitions, and I'm going to provide some examples of when do we use latency recording, and also some of the rationale for choosing these measurement procedures, how do we usually collect the data, and at last I will show you a demonstration of how to implement these procedures. So let's get started. First of all, what is latency recording? Actually, it measures the amount of time that elapses between an antecedent, for example, say teacher's directive, and when the student begins to perform a specified behavior. This type of data collection is appropriate for behaviors that follow a command or directive or a distinct stimulus. For example, the teacher might expect the student to be in his seat and ready for class within 10 seconds of the bell ringing. Here are some more examples to let you understand when should we usually use latency recording. For example, a teacher might be interested in how long it takes for kindergarten students to join the circle time. For example, when teachers announce, alright, it's time to have circle time, please come to the carpet. Some of the students may be busy talking to his friend, some may be hanging around, some was busy drinking their water, etc. So the teachers might want to measure the time between after the teachers announce the instructions and before the students really sit down on the carpet. There is another example that it's the amount of time for a child response to mom's instructions of tidying up toys. Just like the example that I mentioned, for example, mom may want our students to tidy up toys before having lunch. After mom issued the instructions, we were gonna measure the seconds or the time that student needs to really put the stuff into the container. So when do we usually use latency recording? It is used when the behavior of interest involves the length of time it takes for a behavior to begin after an initial cue of request. Also, it is oftentimes used to determine the length of time between when a teacher makes a request to do something and when the student complies with what the teacher requests. Moreover, it is useful when you want to identify the amount of time it takes for an individual to engage in a behavior after a cue is given. The time the cue was given and the time the behavior began can be record or the number of seconds, minutes, or hours it took to start the behavior from when the cue was given, known as the latency period, can also be recorded. However, latency recording is merely recording the time the cue for the behavior was given and amount of time it took before the behavior was displayed. Here are some advantages of using latency recording. When we are interested in the length of time between a specified cue, event, or verbal prompt and occurrence of a behavior, or sometimes when you can identify a specific verbal instructions or an event that precedes the behavior of interest, or even it can be used to prevent problem behavior by identifying the length of time between the trigger and the behavior, indicating when to prompt a new communication skills. For example, maybe it takes 3 seconds for a student to cry after seeing a toy he wants. So in order to decrease his crying behavior, it would be great that if we can prompt the student to ask for the toy after 1 second. Despite the fact that there are some advantages of using the latency recording, there are some disadvantages. For example, it requires time measurement device like stopwatch, clock, audio, or video tape to review later. Since it is usually require an outside observer, sometimes it may be difficult to take while you are teaching. So how do we collect the data when we are really using the latency recording? First, we should stop the stopwatch when the antecedent is provided, and then we stop the stopwatch when the behavior occurs. Record the number of seconds or minutes that elapsed between the end of the antecedent and the onset of the behavior. Not really get it done, but when the students start to do the behavior, then we can stop the stopwatch. Last, repeat the above steps until the end of the observation period. Here is a big tip when we are collecting data. As with duration data, latency data can be difficult to collect while teaching. To make it easier, have your stopwatch and datasheet readily available. Also, take care to define exactly what behavior you are looking for that will count as the behavior occurring. For example, if a teacher is collecting data on a student who is chronically tardy, she would start timing when the bell rings. He may stop timing when the student was physically sitting in his desk. Another teacher may take the same type of data but stop timing when the student entered the classroom. So defining this behavior is with prior importance to maintain the consistency in your data collection efforts. So now, in the following videos, I'm going to show you how we should take the data when we are using latency recording. So the target behavior today is the termination of the video game. That is, we want to assess the duration of Jimmy needs to stop playing video games and put the game remote into the container. So when I announce the instruction to Jimmy that, alright, stop playing, it's time to go to sleep, and then Jimmy needs to put down his container, put down his the game remote and put it down on the sofa or even in the container. So I will count the seconds that So now I'm going to teach you guys how to take the data for latency recording. First of all, you have to get the form ready as well as stopwatch. So for the first part, you have to fill in the information that you may need, and then in the middle you will see that there is a table that with 3 columns. The left hand side is the start time, that is the time that we give the request, and in the middle the time is the behavior was initiated, and the right hand side is latency. So now it's 10:39. I'm gonna write down the time, and the time behavior was initiated should be, we're gonna do it soon, so we're at 10:39 as well. So latency means I need to count the seconds that the student needs between after I issue the instructions and the onset of his behavior. So remember not to get the whole things done, but once he starts to do the instructions, then we're gonna pause. Okay, so let's have a try. So Jimmy, time to go back to sleep, stop playing video games, and now I'm gonna start the timer and see how much times he may need. Okay, once he start to put it down, I'm gonna pause. So the latency is 10.13 seconds. Okay, this is how we collect the data. So let's try again. So Jimmy, please play the video games again. I'm gonna reset it. So the time now is 10:40, the start time, and I think it's 10:40 as well. Alright, so Jimmy, stop playing, tidy up. They're gonna start. Alright, this time the latency is much shorter. It's just 3.45 seconds. Alright, okay, so this is how we collect the data for latency recording. Alright, so now it's practice time. This time I'm gonna fade out the stopwatch and see if you guys can take the same latency as me, okay? So Jimmy, please stop playing, time to go to sleep. Alright, so this time I got the latency is 3.69. Hope you guys can have the same answer as me. Alright, thank you.